Tonight I'm going to read you some, on the whole, very frivolous poems. The first one I think I'll start with by Valentine, and this is to Dónall. Valentine, I wrote you a poem. On the back of this envelope, just like a real poet, I've brought out my inner thoughts about you and me. I rhymed love with heaven above. I rhymed heart with never to part. I rhymed Valentine with always mine. It wasn't a good poem, but I did avoid rhyming bed with head. This is about Dónall. He's a real poet. It's called He Had a Way with Words. He has a way with words. When he says, butterfly, kisses a light on my face, brushing my lips with multicoloured dust. When he says, star, time and space flex, spawn new suns, planets studded with marvels. When he says, moon, the tides turn, sea monsters raise sad heads, mourning their exile into legend. When he said goodbye, an abyss opened at my feet. Sun, moon and stars slipped and fell. Butterflies were merely insects, and words could not console me. And I'm glad to say he came back. And when I need my prop. Here we go.
Your prop.
And when he came back, he gave me a present. He gave me a book. It's a pop-up book.
Oh, right.
It's the pop-up Kama Sutra.
Wow.
It's a rather nice edition. If I can find you something.
Would I do something like that?
Yes. There's one interesting. You need to see that closer. That's actually an orgy. There are some much more difficult things to do. In fact, this is quite good. But I'm not going to spend time on my props. I'm going to read you my. It's called Pop-Up, of course. You gave me the Kama Sutra, the pop-up edition with full chance for reader participation. Plenty of tabs to pull. There are pictures of bendy brown beauties dressed in scanty but elegant clothes who show no resistance to smiling insistence by amorous Indian bows. You gave me the Kama Sutra pop-up version. It's so realistic. The men all have cute little lingams. And there's tabs so the reader can swing them. And the ladies are kissed, not a square inch is missed. From their yoni right down to their wiggly toes. You gave me the Kama Sutra, moving pictures to show what to do, and lots of advice how to make love feel nice. And you popped up like you always do. You gave me the Kama Sutra, and I know that we have a fine future. The practice of loving depends on the moving of all body parts, above all the heart. And that's how I know that I suit you.
We did give a loan of it to Dermot before we started. It's very hard to get it back from him.
Yes. Now I have had some less happy times with men. I'm going to read you what might have been my fate. This is how I avoided adding to recent divorce statistics. I've been a true and faithful wife to every husband that I've had. I've promised to devote my life through thick and thin, through good and bad, but only while this rule applies. What I decide shall be, and there a problem lies. When Johnny led me up the aisle and with a manly, loving smile agreed that he would have and hold me, I loved him then. But they never told me I'd have to iron 8 shirts a week.
What?
And when I ventured, could we speak about this imposition on my valuable time? Dear John insisted this was what he'd meant by when opting for the sacrament. As a blunt instrument, the iron was great. John's status quickly changed to late. My second love was handsome Dave. Before we married, he would rave about the cute and charming way I spent our weekends, how I lay in bed expecting cups of tea and tasty meals to come to me. 1 week past our honeymoon, I found that Dave had changed his tune. "Get up," he said, "and get me bacon, eggs and toast. Come on, you do have legs."
Bastard.
I went downstairs and laid a tray. I brought Dave's last meal up that day. I even brought an appetizer, grapefruit laced with fertilizer. Sliced thinly, chopped and barbecued, he flushed quite neatly down the loo. My third attempt at wedded bliss began so well, we loved to kiss and cuddle at all times of day, and let no chores get in our way. His name was Lee, a gorgeous man, but soon I noticed he began to nag me to pick up my clothes where I had dropped them, hold his nose and tell me, "This house is disgusting, don't you ever do the dusting?" I got a broom and hit him hard. He's buried out there in the yard. An optimist I tried and tried. Again I made a blushing bride, but number 4 is pushing daisies. Gardening? The man was crazy. And when it came to number 5, his weakness showed up on a drive. When I went through red traffic lights, he rudely said, "That wasn't right." While he checked underneath the bonnet, I found the accelerator, stepped on it, and drove him into paradise. I know, it wasn't nice. So now I'm in an awful fix. I need to find mate number 6. I think perhaps a poet will be what I need, for would I kill a man who sings and rhymes to me? But one proviso, he should be my greatest fan. For he must see, he mustn't ever criticise my writing, or my sharp pen between his eyes will send him up to husband heaven, and then I'll have to look for number 7.
I love your stuff.
Well, I have suffered with men. I've met some very rude men, actually, and I'm going to read you a poem about a young man who I met before I was engaged or married or anything else, and I'm going to have to look in this book for it. It's called Between Two Stools. "You're not exactly a whore," he said, "but you're not exactly pure either. You're not exactly ugly," he said, "but you're not exactly Helen of Troy." He was an observant boy, that one. "Your painting, it's not exactly classical, but it's not exactly avant-garde, is it?" "You finished," I said. I was breathing hard. "You're not exactly Einstein, but you're not exactly thick," he went on. "You're not exactly à la mode, but you're not exactly hip. You're not exactly rational, but you're not exactly emotional, I guess." "Oh no," I thought. "Yes," I said, "I suppose I fall exactly between two stools." And I picked one up and threw it at his head. Thank you. Sorry, this is turning out quite a violent evening, isn't it? I'm going to finish with the sad story of Michael, who was a habitual flirt. Michael was an awful flirt. His charm was legendary. It hurt his steady girlfriend when she saw the way he always hoped to score. One night, as Mike was chatting up a girl called Anna, whose bra cup was 32 and double D, his girlfriend told him, "Don't you see? If you go on, my plan is this. I'll have to shoot you. I won't miss." But Michael said, "You won't, you know. You really love me, don't you know?" And carried on to flirt some more. His girlfriend, feeling very sore, like Cupid, took a bow and arrow, aimed, shot, and his escape was narrow. A shot did not go through his heart, but rather lower. It did smart, and now his voice is quite high-pitched. His girl's now seeing Anna. Bitch, says Michael, how was I to know that both the girls were bi? And the moral of that is, a bitch in the hand is worth 2 birds in each other's bushes.